prioritize yourself and your self-love. Y'all don't even know. I got my girl. Yeah, I'm so excited. Shonni B is
I'm
in the building, the
I'm
owner of
excited.
Mama C. Okay, will get you glammed. Okay, Glam Life Studio. Y'all, her
Mm-hmm.
makeup be beat like
Like how
y'all.
yours is right now. I
Listen,
said, ooh,
and
ooh.
I mean, I just kind of threw some out because I knew I was meeting the owner of, well, not meeting, like we know each other, but I knew that I was
Mm-hmm.
out to the owner of Bon Mercy, and I was like, I got to get it together because Shonni
You
don't
look
play.
beautiful. I
Thank
love it. It looks so beautiful,
you.
for real. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
You're welcome. Well, if you remember, I guess we're just gonna jump right in. Like when we first met was at
Mm-hmm.
church.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
going
Mm-hmm.
through a very weird season.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
I
was
think
on
probably
no,
most of us.
yeah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so what y'all need to know about Shonni first off, she is a prayer warrior. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
prayer warrior. And if you know anything about that, usually for people to get to that point, they have
Mm-hmm.
gone through something that causes them to cry out. Something along their journey that allows them to be able to reach that spot because you got to reach a very vulnerable spot
Yeah.
in your life to be able
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
cry out to the Lord like that. Can you kind
Yeah.
of tell us what got you there?
Man, that's so good, Faith. Because anytime I look at somebody at a certain place in their spiritual like tooling, I be like, dang, I wonder what they had to go through to get that. Because that's literally it's just the thing that you have to do. And so for me, so I grew up in church, but once I got like in my teenage years and up in my 20s, I didn't want to be the saved friend because that's what I was. And so I got into coaching, got with my friends or whatever. And so as I navigated into my 20s, I began to feel this innate, undeniable like pull. I just, I was labeling it purpose, but it was something that was happening. Like, I got to get my life together. And usually when we say that, we're talking about our relationship with God. And so I kept saying, oh, I got to get my life together. But I was deeming it, I got to get closer to God. And so I found myself at this point. I've opened a physical brick and mortar store. So I feel like I'm segueing into my natural destiny, like doing makeup, owning a beauty bar, selling hair. Like, it's starting to grow. One of my close friends now, she's a celebrity hairstylist. We started together. The other person's celebrity makeup artist. So our careers are starting to bud and build. But I'm feeling this thing like, okay, I'm arrived, but something is missing. And so as I get into this journey of being a business owner, very intimidating, especially when you have a brick and mortar. And that's a whole other road that I could go down on what I learned from that journey. But the thing that I knew that I needed, because I had not been a business owner before, was I needed God to show me what to do. That triggered that journey with God, because unbeknown to me, he was going to draw me closer. I'm thinking to show me how to run a business, but it was literally to birth this prayer life that has sustained me through the journey of losing the business, dealing with a parent who's battling addiction, dealing with just life in general. And so what I thought was God showing me how to be a great entrepreneur was him saying, okay, I'm going to show you what's really in there that you're going to need for other things outside of your business. So that's pretty much what birthed that prayer life.
Wow. That is amazing. It's funny how God will use something like it's like he'll draw you in with something
Yeah.
completely different. And then he's
Yeah.
like, all right, now that I got your attention, kind of like Moses with the burning bush. Like, now I
Mm-hmm.
got your
Mm-hmm.
attention. Let me show you what your
Yep.
real purpose is. That
Yeah.
is so dope because he has done
God is.
that with me too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's his way, because our humanity will try to dictate that journey. And so whether it's a failed relationship, whether it's you feel like I'm hitting a wall in my career, you're going to find yourself in a place where you're starting to question what's next. And most of us, even if we did not grow up in church, we know God is the answer. And so most of us will try to get to that next phase by saying, okay, Lord, show me what is next. And when you
Mhm.
open that door, God, God is huge. So you
Yeah.
may be inviting him in to get you over a heartbreak, but he's going to come in and take up all of that space to make you a better person. And that's just how God works. And I had to come to realization of that. Like, I just wanted you to help me do my business. And he like,
Yeah.
no, I'm a big old guy. I'm about to help you get into destiny.
I'm about to
So
turn you into a whole
I'm about
intercessor
to
out
turn
here.
into a whole intercessor, a whole other person. And so in that, when we talk about the crushing, so I remember one time when that first year of business. Now, mind you, I'm at like $50,000 worth of equity in my business. I've of course hair sales. So you're making money. I'm getting clients. And I remember I think it was like 2016 going into 2017, the new year. I didn't go anywhere. I remember going to the beauty bar. I turned on the Potter's House, their New Year's Eve message, and I laid out on that carpet. I had a carpet area near the register, and I laid out on that carpet that night, and I just began to cry out to the Lord. I couldn't articulate what was happening, but there was a transaction happening in that moment. And I made a commitment to God that, this is his business. And I remember before I got up off that floor, God saying, you said this is my business, right? Do you trust me? And I said, yes. And boy, not 4 months after that, my business went downhill.
Really?
It did.
Oh my
It
goodness.
did. God began to strip. God began to strip me. So prior to me getting to Huntsville, um, I'm really trying to keep this business that I felt like the Lord gave me, because there were words that, God gave me this. I knew innately like this was something for me. And so as I'm like, the clientele is drying up, people are sabotaging, like through word of mouth and through rumors. And just really agendas against my business begin to really prevail, and they actually
Mhm.
begin to win. But it was really God allowing them to do so, because he was drying up that place to get me to here. I did not know that. So before I got here, like, there were times, although I had a place to live, I wouldn't have lights. So I had to choose to keep the lights on at the beauty bar versus keeping lights on at my house, or keeping
Wow.
water on at the beauty bar versus keeping water on at my house. And so the beauty bar became my house for about a year and a half. And a lot of people didn't even know it. Like, that's the place that I would eat. I would stay there super late, and I would go home like as late as I could go home. I would Uber. Like, it was so many things. I was surviving a season that I felt like I shouldn't have been in, but I need, on this side of things, I needed that season to
Mhm.
become the person that I am today. So that was the crushing element, because you wonder what it is about someone that has put in that place of vulnerability. So
Yes.
that season put me in that vulnerable place where I had to allow God to birth me into who he always saw me to be and who he created me to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have never known that.
Girl, well, I've been
Yeah.
homeless.
Really?
Yes, when I got to Huntsville. So, and then at this time, mind you, my mom is battling her addiction. So my relationship with my father is not really there. My relationship with my sister was not really good. Um, just my family life wasn't very supportive, and I didn't have a lot of refuge. God was like, you gonna have to go through this. Nobody gonna help you out of this. So I felt very helpless, but I felt very protected at the same time. Like, I was losing everything, but I felt so safe. And then it's not a long testimony, but it's a long testimony on how I got to Huntsville. But I got here. And once I got here, I didn't get here with a place to stay. I came here without a place to stay of my own. I came here without a job. I would go back and forth for like prom season and stuff in Tuscaloosa because I still had clients. But me getting here, I came here literally on faith. I came
Wow.
here literally on faith. And so,
Look at
child,
God. Talk
I'm
about
telling you,
You don't look like what you've been through, okay? Like, how the Lord will restore it. Do
He
you hear me?
will. He really will. He really. I'm a testament. And
Yeah.
that's why I really advocate for people. And I see one of the things in one of my prayers was I always pray that God never let me forget that season, because sometimes we could come out of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. You want to be so far away from the pain and the disappointment that you shut that out. And so my
Mm-hmm.
prayer to God was, in a healthy capacity, let me never forget those places that you had me, because I need that pressure to keep me near your feet. Because life can get comfortable and you can get spiritually lazy.
Wow.
But man, in the phase of like restoration and just remembering the things that I endured, it puts me in a great place of gratitude, but it makes me very ambitious about making sure other people see that too. And that was
Yes.
another prayer of mine, that when I encounter a person, no matter where they are in their lives, God, give me the ability to see what you see about
Mm,
their life. Because it's hard sometimes. You get so overwhelmed by where you are, you cannot see what's next. And
yes.
I feel like God really graced me by embracing and allowing that season, because this was years. This wasn't, oh, I went through it 6 months and oh, things changed. No, from about 2016 to
Wow.
2020, oh, we was straight getting broken and built, broken and built, broken and built.
Okay. So I just need to say this. I need to say this about you.
Mhm,
Okay. So when I first met you and I was in my weird season of trying to
mhm,
just figure my life out, I had I feel like I was like the vegan girl that
mhm,
was like skin and bones. It was just this new girl at the church. And I felt so out of place. You
mhm,
have
mhm,
no idea. I felt so out of place. And I went out to eat, and it was you and it was a whole bunch of people at, I think, what was it, Grindhouse or something. Do you
Yeah,
remember this?
I
Do you
do
remember this?
remember it. I do remember.
And
I just
you
cannot
were
remember
like,
the
come sit
restaurant.
with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. I was so shy. I felt so out of place. Um but you were always so kind to me, and you were always so welcoming, and you were just always so I in my unhealed season that I was in,
Mhm,
I felt just like an outcast, and I felt like, I don't
mhm,
know, like people were judging me or whatever,
mhm,
just because I
mhm.
had not gone through the healing that I needed to go through, and a lot of my
Yeah.
had me thinking that, everybody's against me or whatever.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so for someone like you, who I knew had a strong leg in the how, like you were
Yeah.
someone that everybody seemed to love, and for you to be so welcoming to me, I could cry, but you just don't even know how
Oh,
much that meant to me during that season of my life. And I really just want to say thank you.
thank you, Faith. It's good tears. It's good tears. It's good
But
tears.
I just want to say
Oh my
thank
goodness.
you for just how I felt seen by you in a season where I just felt
Yeah.
so lost. And
Thank you.
I wanted to
Whew.
honor you by saying thank you. I'm still trying to get you a seat. I don't care if you say no. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. But
Oh,
I just, I was like, I have got to. Number one, I'm so inspired by everything you post on Instagram. Y'all gotta follow her. She's so inspirational. Like, she's so real and so
you,
just so encouraging and Bible based. And I just love that. But I was like, I've gotta get her on the podcast because I just need you to know how much that meant to me in that season of my life when I did not feel seen.
thank
And
you.
just you always gave me a hug. You always had a smile on your face. And it just meant so much to me. So Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. And those words mean so much because even as we're talking about, like what you endure, and you have those moments to where you're asking God, like, okay, what is this about? At this point, it's like I'm learning, like I'm changing.
Mhm.
And you always have this thing with the Lord, like, is this really worth it, God? Like, I ain't saying nothing. But
Right.
moments like this that really heal, like those words are so healing for my soul because it makes that journey to Huntsville, because it was literal hell. It
Yeah.
makes that journey like that was worth it to
Yeah.
know that, to know that. Like that, I would do it all over again. I would
God
do it all over
definitely
again, Faith.
He definitely
Um,
planted you there for me. I don't like
yeah,
I know that people go through things, but I definitely I don't believe in happenstance. I believe
yeah,
God is
yeah,
sovereign, and I believe that he orchestrates
yeah,
meetings, and I believe he knows the end from the beginning, and I believe he placed you there for me, and I even though you didn't know it, or you may have, I don't know. I was really struggling emotionally and mentally,
yeah,
and struggling with just feeling like I even was good enough to live,
yeah.
basically. And so
And that's a
for
hard place to be in because you're already starting to step into this vulnerability of your truth and like where you are and what you're about to face within yourself. And then church is a very it could be a very hard place to do that in, because you are in a place where everybody's doing that but nobody wants to be honest about they're doing that. And
yeah,
so they can take out their frustrations of facing their truth on other people. And that was one of my things with God, that I never want people to come into a place with his name on it and they don't feel him. Like, if I'm going to proclaim that I have a connection with God, no matter what that costs me, it's my challenge and my task in this journey of life to constantly reflect that. And so I'm just thankful to even have released that fingerprint of really God's heart, because that's really what it
yeah,
is. And I've said this before. I recently had a conversation and I was telling somebody, because they were sharing those same sentiments. And honestly, oftentimes God doesn't let me see the insecurities or super brokenness of people. He allows me to see what he sees, and that's the place that he builds my love for them. He builds it from that place, from that I don't I it doesn't, because God doesn't care about you slept with this person or you stole this. Like, God does not
yeah,
care about that. And he's not so disturbed by our behavior that he does not love us at 100%. So in those moments where I'm able to manifest how he really feels about us,
man.
girl.
You just don't know it, and it shows, and you really God definitely used you. So I just want to tell you that you are an amazing person. God definitely lives in you, and he uses you whether you know it or not. So I don't ever want you to question who you are, because you have made such an impact to me on my journey, and you've helped me to realize that there are still really good people in this world, because it sometimes it's not as easy to
Yeah.
see really good people in this world.
Yeah, I'm a victim of it.
Yeah.
People really peopling. People go, because people go people. And
People
I'm a
gonna
victim
be
of people. People go people. And I have to be conscious too, because I am a people. I am a person. And so I have human moments, but my intentionality with Holy Spirit is that my humanity stays secondary, And that despite what I may be considering or what I may be thinking, that the Spirit of the Lord always can have room to flow through me. Because even in those moments, like you said, you don't know what somebody is enduring. Because even in my own season of where I was and going through what I was going through here in Huntsville, God constantly reminded me that I got you taken care of. So don't you ever let what you are enduring keep you from reflecting me. And that
Mhm.
was one of the challenges God gave me about mid strip. Like, hey, this ain't done yet. I know you keep asking when it's going to be over, but I need you to learn how to suffer well. Because even in your suffering, I'm with you and you're going to be okay. But you're going to still have to figure out a way to show up because you got to show up. Because you not showing up doesn't stop people not being in need. And so
Right.
once I learned that part, I said, okay, okay. And honestly, Faith, I have gotten so much. I get refreshed to be able to push my stuff aside and say, how are you doing? It's such a, it alleviates a burden for me. And I
Mhm.
think that's also reflective of just where God has really pushed my faith in Him. That if you're gonna trust me, you gotta trust me. And so in the moments, I can just let my stuff go and really say, okay, what are you going through? And just take a breath from my own battles. And
Mhm.
be able to show up for other people. So I thank you for that. That was water and nutrition for my soul, my heart that I didn't even anticipate and realize that I needed. So thank you.
Well, you are welcome. Thank you. Just
Whew.
thank. Now, I told you that I wasn't gonna keep you on here long, but I also gotta bring this up.
Yeah, yeah.
Too close to quit. Keep going.
Keep
Your
going. Oh
notebook.
my God.
You didn't even know
Thank
I had.
okay, Lord. Okay, Lord. Okay, you done sent faith. You done sent faith to get me together.
You didn't even know I had it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes. So tell us this. First of all, y'all got to go get it because this number one, if you know about the healing journey, the self love
Mm-hmm.
journey, you have
Mm-hmm.
to journal. You
You
have to.
got
You
a
got to
journey.
get it out. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so. Tell us a little bit about this before we let the good people go. Like,
Yeah. So that was part of that. What is this, Lord? Season. And Holy Spirit began to really minister to me, like, and God is so He's not tricky, but I understand what He got to do with us because we will give up. And so there'll be seasons where you're like, I feel it coming, I feel it coming. And then you look like 6 months later and you're like, oh, it's still coming. But there's
mhm.
this like refreshing and this rejuvenation that comes with Him hitting you with that. And so I was in that phase. I had just stepped down from, y'all, I have been an entrepreneur for a total of probably 7 years. So even
Wow.
having a master's degree, having done internships, I could not get a full-time job. That's a whole other part of my testimony. Literally could not get a full-time job. So finally I get here. After a while, I'm at FedEx. I end up shooting up to like management. I'm making almost 90,000 a year after bonuses and everything. So I hear the Lord say, after about working that job, not even a full year, hey, you got to let it go. And I could not understand that. I could not understand that. But in that season, God kept me. He literally, this was 2021 when He told me to leave. And I think that's when I produced that journal. But He kept me and He
Mhm.
kept me so to the point, He just would remind me, you're too close to quit.
Mhm.
I gave you a breather. I let you get your little job because you was really trying to get a job and get your little
Right.
coin and you want to get comfortable. But
Mhm.
He was just saying, all that I put in you, you're too close. You've come too far. You've done too much work. You've done so much healing. Don't quit on yourself. I'm
Mhm.
asking you to quit this job, but I'm not asking you to quit on you.
Mhm.
And so that birthed that journal. And that has been pretty much a thing that has been a seed in my soul, that with every level of healing, I'm getting closer to becoming exactly who God created me to be. So
Yes.
even when it's the hardest part of my journey of healing and birthing the things that God is saying birth, I'm closer than I was before. So
Mhm.
in its hardness, don't quit. Just keep
Yes.
going. Literally, just
Yes.
keep going. You're gonna see it. You're
Yes.
gonna
You'll
see
win if you don't quit.
you win if you don't quit. Ta!
Yep. You win if you don't quit. So y'all go and get this. It's on
Thank you,
Amazon.
Faith.
And you are very welcome. Thank you. Period. Just thank you. That's just all I need. If you don't walk away with nothing, just thank you. Okay. Because God bless you and your life and everything connected to you. And I just pray that you would
You
just
as
continue
well.
to prosper even as your
Yes.
soul prospers. And I'm just going to speak a blessing over you, that God would just continue to bless you from the top of your head to the soles of your feet, that you would never feel like your purpose or your journey is worthless or not worthwhile, because you are actually literally a glory carrier, and you are touching lives even when you don't know it. And I'm so thankful for your life. And I know there's many, but I am thankful that you, Shonni B, are breathing. I'm thankful that you walk this earth, and I thank God for your life. Period. So y'all go and get this notebook. Shonni, let the people know where they can follow you everywhere.
Woo! Before Faith take me out. For real, for real. I mean, this is a literal whole God moment, and I'm gonna send you about 50 voice messages. You better know it. I'm about to light your DMs up. Um, they can follow me on Instagram at Shonni B30. I'm there. If they want to look through some makeup pictures, they can follow By Mercy. But you can definitely find me at Shonni B30. And also in my bio, there is a text prompt. You could join a community that I'm starting to build so that I can stay connected and continue to just check in on people and let them know to keep going. So they
Mhm.
can do that. And I just want to say thank you so much, Faith. And I pray the same blessing you spoke over me, you receive it 10 times for real, and that the women that you're reaching and the seeds that you are planting, that you bear a harvest that goes beyond your lifetime. So I mean that with every fiber of my being. I really do. Yeah.
God bless
Amen.
you. I love you. I
It's
love you.
so good to see you.
I'm trying not to cry in. My nose has been red this whole time just because I turned
I
into
know I'm
Rudolph.
gonna cry in the car.
Turned into Rudolph. But oh my gosh, y'all already know I love y'all, and I will see you in the next episode.
Love you, girl.